Hey guys, in this video, I will be mapping out Sudbury from a perspective of a real estate investor with Tyler, who is one of the realtors I work with. Tyler, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you. My name is Tyler Peroni. I'm a realtor and investor in Sudbury, Ontario, born and raised. I currently have three buildings, 8 units, so a duplex and two triplexes. So I do anywhere from the burst strategy. I have three Airbnbs.
Right
So
on.
I'm kind of well versed in kind of all different aspects. But yeah, my main career is selling real estate. So I've kind of been involved for years and years. My parents were both realtors, and my job growing up, but in the summers we're going into units and flipping units and getting rent checks and that kind of stuff. So I've been in
Damn,
it for a long time, but here we are. Yeah.
we never talked about that. It's actually crazy. All right, let's get started. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit. So this is what Greater Sudbury looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of these outlying areas are mostly single family. You will find a couple multifamilies on the outside, but for most out of town investors, you're kind of looking kind of Sudbury proper. So this is the area that you would be looking in. Those obviously you'll see a couple of spots when we get into them that are more multifamily zoning and units than single family, but I'll kind of explain the whole city. If you have any questions as we go, just feel free to ask. All right.
Sure. Thanks.
So the easiest one to map out would kind of be this new Sudbury area. And so as I go up, I'm just going to kind of draw a line in between each. So you'll
Yep.
see, this little square here kind of comes down here. This is what you would consider New Sudbury. And so it kind of comes over here. So I'm just going to label that.
New Sudbury.
So this is a really good area. It's probably the second most expensive in the city. Um, so you have Camry College here. You have the New Sudbury Shopping Center here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you got a couple golf courses around. You have some really nice stuff. Most of this area is single family, so just houses. They range anywhere from these days about 250 to $1 million, and anywhere in between that. Average price is about 400.
Okay.
But this we would consider to be an A minus, B plus area in the city,
Okay.
for the renters.
How's the student rental market?
So they actually have a shortage of on-site housing. They actually just built a new residence, I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago, but they still don't have enough. So
Okay.
when you start looking at that area, you'll see a lot. Like this is Paquette Street. Paquette has a ton of student rentals, and then lots of this single family because we have the secondary unit, the dwelling units in Ontario now.
Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots of these houses have secondary units. Most of them were done before the law came out, so they're kind of illegal units, but there's definitely a ton of them around for sure.
Okay. Awesome.
So next up would be Minnow Lake. So just south of New Sudbury. So you kind of come here, you cut it off there, and then kind of straight across, and then back up to here. So this would be your Minnow Lake area. This is also a really good rental area if you're lucky enough to get in it.
Yep.
Again, there is still a lot of single family in the area. There's lots of new subdivisions as well. I shouldn't say a lot of new subdivisions, but there's a big new subdivision there as well. If you've been researching Sudbury at all in the last little bit, you'll probably hear of the KED, which is our big expansion. So right around here, this land is owned by a developer, and he is planning on building a big arena and event center, as well as a casino, a couple of hotels. So it's going to be like it's supposed to be the new downtown. is going to be out here. So it should be, if it ever gets off the ground, it's going to be a fantastic place. So if you're looking at even Airbnb rentals or like
Hmm.
future development, this would be a nice little area to look at.
Do you know when that's scheduled to finish the construction?
There's no date yet. It's been kind of held up because there are a couple different, obviously interested parties. Some people want it downtown, some people want it here. So it's kind of been back and forth, but it actually got the green light to go ahead. So I don't know when it's going to finish, but they're actually supposed to start next year on the development of it.
Oh, they're gonna start next year.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
wow.
hoping anyways.
And sorry, what's the average house that goes for in Minnow Lake?
So the stats are kind of skewed. It says it's about 100 or sorry, 380,000.
Okay.
But those are like one big subdivision selling for 600 or 700,000. But most of the area is in like the high twos, I would say. Probably average would be just under 300,000 for something
Yeah.
in this area.
And what would rent be like for something that's like, let's just say 300 to 80? What's the rent looking like?
For sure. So this would be what you'd consider kind of like a B. So there's some B minus all the way up to B plus. There's
Hmm.
some better areas than others, obviously. But you're looking rent for a one bedroom, you're looking around 850 to 1150. Two bedroom anywhere from 1100 to 1600 depending on finishes. And then three bedrooms would be kind of your 1400 plus. So this is our kind of, well, we have a couple D neighborhoods, but this is what we like to say up and coming, hopefully. And so this, um, in Sudbury, there's a lot of blurred lines. So these boundary marks aren't necessarily like 100% accurate, but they are very close. So I got most of this information right from the city website.
Hmm.
Um, so this area is kind of a gray area here. Lots of people would consider this kind of West Endish, but or like the downtown area would actually come to this Alder Street area. So
Okay.
anything in here would be considered downtown. So this, you're looking here, this is like our downtown mall. There's lots of restaurants. This is where like the Scotia Tower TD would be. This is a lot of businesses down here.
Is this where the CRA office is as well?
No, so the CRA would be
Oh,
up just up here. So on this corner.
oh,
So
cool,
it's
cool.
actually in New Sudbury. Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
actually it's a nice area when you're visiting. There's lots of good restaurants. There's coffee shops almost on every corner, that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. But there is a lot of low income, a lot of homeless, that kind of stuff down here. So yeah, it
Okay.
is what it is. But yeah.
And what is a like single family home or a duplex typically go for?
Yeah, so duplex, you could probably get one for, well, obviously the market's getting a lot hotter, so you're looking around 90 to 120,000 per unit.
Okay.
But your single family, there's not many in this area, but there's some that sold down here. If you can see my cursor on Morris, one just sold for about 350, which was super nice, like all updated, brand new kitchen, that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but average in the area would be about 200
200 for a duplex
for a single family.
for a single family.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can
And
get a couple duplexes for that price as well. But
they'll be like really bad shape, right? Like I'm
yeah,
thinking the turnkey ones, like a two bedroom was probably about 300,000
yep,
roughly.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
right.
And what's the rent like for a two bedroom?
So yeah, you would consider this a D area. So you're looking kind of for a two bedroom anywhere from 900 to 1400 if it was well done
Okay.
south here. So what this area would be, and I'm just going to draw it again. But so now we're getting into the hospital area. So this originally years and years ago was actually there kind of still is like that in areas, but this is where the kind of rich would live in Sudbury. So lots of stately homes, a lot of oops, a lot of professors live in the area now.
Like
So you have
new hospital?
no.
The hospital
So
area.
there's actually two. We don't consider it new hospital, but so right here, this little corner of it is actually the kind of old hospital area. There's a hospital right here. It's not a hospital anymore, but the Memorial Hospital was the original one. And then if you've ever been to Sudbury and see the massive building that's all painted like a rainbow, that's our old
Yeah.
general hospital. And then
Oh,
those two amalgamated into what we have now, which is Health Sciences North, which is
does
kind of
that is that colorful building still open or no?
no, it's not. No,
It's not, right?
it's been abandoned for a while, and the developer is actually planning on turning it into a condo building. Um, but
Okay.
that's we don't have a start date for that as well either.
And then what's the typical duplex single family home go for in this area?
Yeah. So duplex would kind of be this is where you start getting a little bit more expensive. This area is like the old kind of very solid brick buildings, big. Usually it's a single family house turned into a duplex somewhere along the way.
Mm,
So you're looking anywhere from kind of 140 a unit to anywhere like even up to 200 a unit.
damn.
So this is where you would kind of invest for appreciation instead of cash flow. But with the right buy, you can obviously cash flow in any area.
Okay. And this is like a A++ area, right? I forgot to ask. Or would you say
Parts of it definitely, but mostly would be about a B area.
B area? Okay.
Yeah.
And what is a two-bedroom typically rent for?
So two bedroom, you'd be looking anywhere from about 1250, and I just saw one a friend of mine posted for 1800.
Yeah.
That was totally kind of renovated, and that's plus hydro as well.
And
So the most south that we're gonna go would be kind of the Robinson area.
mm-hmm.
So anywhere south here, I'm just gonna draw this so I don't start messing things up. But this would be Robinson area. You find a lot more single family in this area as well. There's a couple areas here. I'm just gonna put that in. So a couple areas, you have Coursey Hill up here, which would be anywhere from kind of 700 and up, actually maybe 600 and up, anywhere to 2 million for a house.
Wait,
But
600 and up? This is like a Toronto type of thing?
yeah,
600 and
this
up?
is these are some nice houses for sure.
Damn.
Yeah. But at the bottom of the hill, so this is Coursey Hill, right at the bottom of the hill, it's still a very expensive area, and it actually blew up this year. But you're looking at anywhere from kind of 400 for a bungalow and up. But you can also get a couple nice rental properties here. So duplexes mostly, some triplexes, but it's a nice area. So this would be kind of again one of our A areas, and you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at anywhere for a two bedroom from 1250 plus. We've seen them. I've seen a couple over 2000 a unit, but it's
2000 for
yeah,
a two-bedroom.
yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Uh,
There's some expensive ones, but those are obviously the massive nice ones for sure.
okay. What's the next area?
For sure. So the next one would be the Gatchel.
Gatchel.
So this is an old Italian area,
Oh, really?
but now it's kind of changed now. But if you were a settler from Italy back in the day, chances are you probably landed here
Gatchel.
in Gatchel. And so this is a still a decent area. So just over to our left or west, you can see Copper Cliff. So good
In Little
mining.
Italy? Yeah.
And then yeah, you're still close. So you have a lot of nice little kind of stores in the
Is it
area.
B? Is it a B or
Yeah, this
B
would be
minus? B plus?
like some
B-ish?
could be a C plus anywhere, and then a like B plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, so average I would say probably a B area. So you're looking kind of two bedroom 1100 to 1600 on depending on finishes, but it's still like lots of rental in the area. Every second
Yeah.
house is a duplex or triplex. And then there's a couple bigger buildings as well, but yeah,
And
it's a
what do you typically get? How much can you get a duplex? Like, what's
um
it? Yeah.
yeah, so here you're looking anywhere from probably 100 to 125 a unit.
100. Okay. So we probably get a duplex for around 250, 300.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair for sure.
Cool, cool.
And then again, Gatchel has a lot of like all brick buildings
Really?
that are like solidly built for sure. So the next one, so this where it says Little Britain here,
Mm-hmm.
if you call somebody from Sudbury and you tell them I want to buy a property in Little Britain,
Yeah.
they will not think that this is where Little Britain. I'm not saying that Google's wrong, but I'm
Okay.
saying that Google's wrong.
Okay. So where is
So
Little? So what's Little Britain
so
then?
the actual Little Britain is these couple little streets here.
Yeah.
This is Little Britain.
So people. Okay.
So like so this right here you would consider the West End. So if you're looking at buying a house on the West End, this
Oh.
is where you're looking. So right here, you'll see kind of along my line,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a railway. So on this side is hospital area, this side is the West End. But so the West End kind of comes here, and then it follows the train track, and then comes all the way back.
So this is called like the West End, and so
The
Little
West.
Britain doesn't exist, I guess.
Well, it's a small subdivision within the West
Oh.
End, but it's actually only
Oh.
like two or three streets.
Cool. 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 Okay, and this is a BC area.
Yeah, yeah. So this would be like closer to where you find the downtown line. So
Mm-hmm.
so some people would still consider these couple of streets here downtown.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at it from like the legit maps, this is where the West End starts. So
Okay.
these couple streets here, you're still kind of a C plus C area, but once you start moving away, back in this area, and then anywhere in here, this is kind of B plus in here. That's a good area.
Okay. So like the closer it is like to Gatchel, the better it is, right?
Yeah,
The closer it is to the hospital area, the B-ish, the higher
yeah,
and closer it is to the Donovan, the C-ish area.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
how much can you get a like a duplex for?
So duplexes here would kind of be the same, like the 250 to 300. There's
300.
a couple very nice streets that have like the larger homes that are kind of done, so you can get you would start going over three for a duplex at that point.
Okay.
Um, but generally the high twos, low threes for sure.
And what's the typical rent for a two bedroom?
Yeah, so B area again, two bedroom, you're looking at anywhere from kind of 1100 if I was renting right now to 1600 depending on units. Then
Okay.
we start getting over to the Donovan.
Yeah. I have a couple properties, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So this would be considered our another D area. Like there's not really one that's better. So the next one that we're gonna do is the flour mill.
Mm.
Lots of people don't even understand where the separation is between the two because they're kind of just lumped in. But this is where it is. So there's a couple sneaky places in the Donovan that are really nice. There's one area specifically that has already started um, the gentrifying.
Mm.
So you're looking kind of down here in this area. There's a couple streets that are D, but there's most of them that are like the big houses that are now converted into two or three units, and those are nice. Like I would even consider them like B plus, even some streets maybe even A minus, but it really depends on like the actual property. The neighborhood and in whole is probably a B, um, but there are some A properties in the area for sure.
So Donovan is a up and coming area. The
Exactly.
place to
If you
invest.
exactly, it really is.
What?
So you see where this Tuco's Taco Lounge,
Yeah,
like this little strip, one actually I think it's a husband and wife. They ended up buying a couple properties along here and
really.
really started livening up the neighborhood.
Oh,
And so there's like the Tuco Taco Lounge,
Tuco's Tacos. Yeah.
Tuco's Tacos, yeah. There's an ice cream place right across the street. Like there's a couple really nice places. So this little area here is starting to expand bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think the whole
Wow.
area will start
For
being,
real? Because
yeah,
every
it's like
time anybody told me that, like, my houses are like Melvin Avenue, so it's like close to
yeah,
somewhere there, and
yeah,
it's like around the 300-ish
yeah,
fraud fruit.
yeah.
Uh, like people tell me those are terrible areas. Like they always like I tell them I'm gonna buy it there, and they're like, "You're crazy."
But honestly, like the whole area isn't bad. It's still like those areas, like anywhere here. I just closed on one, right on Mabel. So right here, I just bought a triplex, and
Okay,
so that's like I'm still investing in the area. I
I
like it.
mean
It cash
cash
flows.
flow.
It's like you can't complain for sure.
So yeah, so Tuco Tacos Lounge is like a up and coming area, stuff beside it, right? For someone who's investing
Yep.
Tuco's Tacos. And
Yep.
there's also like a mosque there, I think, somewhere in the Donovan, right?
Hmm.
So do you think that that could be a spot for like maybe immigrants to come and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Settle down there?
Especially like new immigrants when you're landing, maybe you don't have like that much money. It's a good
Exactly.
starter area for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And then at the
And
same time, like
yeah,
the bus traffic through there, the transit system is pretty heavy. So if you have to go anywhere, you're it's a good area for sure.
oh wow. Okay. But I heard that, most of the LTB cases are from there. So like there's that too, right? But
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
okay.
obviously with cash flow, you're also going to get more problems. But
Okay.
if you're willing to put in the work and hire the right people to take care of those properties, especially for out of town investors, then
It
then
could
you're
be a
looking,
huge win. Like, yeah,
yeah,
because my couple of properties in the Donovan, like, been good. People been good. Like, they pay rent and whatnot. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And when you put out a nice product, you're gonna get the clientele that you want to, right?
Okay.
If they're not great rentals, then you might not get the right people that want to rent from you, right?
For sure. For sure.
Um,
Gonna buy more properties in the Donovan. This is something. Sorry, I forgot to ask how many
yeah.
more. Sorry, how much does a typical duplex go for?
So there you're anywhere. I mean, you can snag a couple if you're on the money for about 150. But most of them are over two on their way to three. There was one that just sold
150
a couple weeks ago for 300. It was
for
just a
300.
duplex, two bedroom units.
But you said we can get stuff for 150.
If you find the right one and jump on it, you can do
Tyler,
that.
you gotta
You got
call
to
me
work with
when
the
you
right
see
people.
one. You gotta
You got to
call
work
me.
with the right people, man.
Gotta You gotta call me when you see
Yeah.
something for 150 for real?
Yeah,
150?
but that's like you're gonna have to renovate the whole thing. Like they're
Okay,
not great, but
then okay.
good burr opportunity for sure.
So how much does what's the typical rent for a two bedroom? What's the
So a two bedroom in like the actual Donovan, you're looking anywhere from 900 to maybe 13, 14
yeah.
if it's like super nice.
Yeah. I got my two bedroom rented out for I think 1,000 on Melvin. And
Yeah,
it's not really good shape because the neighbor smokes, so it sucks. And the other
yeah,
one, I think I can get it for 1,250. It's in a slightly better location. Oh, and
but
sorry,
not least.
Donovan's D area? I think you already
Um,
said it, right?
Most of the Donovan, yeah,
It's
C
just D.
plus, or sorry, C minus or D.
D. Okay.
But like again, like there's a couple of super nice areas up here where you see Cambrian Heights. That's another nice area. If you can buy up there, that's another B area.
Yeah.
But there's very few that pop up. But you got to be watching for sure.
All right. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Last but not least, the flour mill. So this would be most people would say this was probably the lowest in Sudbury. Actually, yeah, anybody that knows what they're talking about would be say this was the lowest. So it's called the flour mill because there was an actual flour mill in the area,
Yeah.
and it kind of just stayed. But here you're looking oh, I didn't mean to move that. Some streets you're looking C, but for the most part you're looking at a D neighborhood, so a higher crime rate, um, low income, but it's again, if you're not buying the building and that has cash flow in this area, you're doing something wrong.
Mm,
So you're looking kind of two bedroom you're looking anywhere from, again, like the 800 to 1300 range. One bedroom 700 to maybe 1,000. Um, but yeah, there are, again, just like with any other area, there are some nicer little pockets. Um, so this up on Sunrise Ridge, this is a new subdivision they've been building for about 10 years now, and so new builds up there would be about 600. But right when you get to the bottom of the hill, Leslie Street, this little corner is probably the worst in Sudbury, I would say. So there's
Mountain?
lots of
The Mountain Street is
yeah,
all.
Mount
Oh
Leslie
shit.
area.
Okay.
Yeah, so lots of actually when I was there this weekend, and I was talking to one of the tenants that we were showing the unit, and I go, so like, what do you think of the area? And she goes, oh, it's really nice because there's always cops around. So it's just like,
It's safe.
so it's,
Man.
yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, at the same time, there's good people in any neighborhood, but
For
this
sure.
is this is one that's been struggling for a long time in Sudbury for sure.
So is this worse than Donovan or better than the Donovan Farmer?
All in all, is probably, honestly, if I had to pick one, I would say it was a little bit worse, but they're close. They're very close.
Like, did we miss any areas? Maybe Copper Cliff? Like I
Not
always,
necessarily, like,
yeah.
yeah. So Coppercliff is just over here.
Yeah.
Um, this is like a really old part of Sudbury. So like this is right beside the mines. So
Mhm. Oh,
sometimes
really?
when, like, the mine is actually right here, the smelter's right here. If you ever see the super stack, the super stacks are right here. So actually, it's pretty cool. If you're ever in Sudbury, you can drive up in here, and you can get really close to the super stack, and you'll actually like appreciate how massive this thing is. It's huge.
What's a super
But
stack? I don't know what a super stack is. My bad.
oh, it's the biggest smokestack in the world. You've never seen it? You've been to
I've never.
Sudbury,
I
seen it?
mean, like, I'm
Good.
just looking for cash flow, man. So,
Yeah.
like, what kind of area is Copper Cliff? Because I see a couple of homes there, and I don't know. Like, because is it a C, D, B,
It's, I would say C.
C?
Um, it's just old. Like the stuff is, it's the mine that built most of the homes, so they're not
Mm,
necessarily the most sound houses.
yeah.
Um, when you're walking through the living rooms, the floors are going like this. So it's one of those areas that could be nice, and it has basically anything that you would need in a small town, super close to the city.
Mm.
It's just old, so you just have to be careful.
And what's a typical rent like in like for a 2 bedroom? Do you know?
If I had to say, it would probably be like, for a two bedroom, you're looking like 1,000 to 1,300 maybe. Yeah, just like a
Yeah.
quick point. Anything down here, this is what we call the South End.
Mm-hmm.
This is mostly like single family residential. It's the most expensive area in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there are a couple opportunities. Like there's some nice like fourplexes, duplexes. Like they're kind of scattered within the houses. But here, you'd be lucky to cash flow a property here. It's very expensive, but it's also, you're getting premium tenants as well.
And like, if I were to do an Airbnb, hypothetically, where would that be? Like, can I just do it anywhere?
Yeah, so we
Or
don't
my-
really have like short-term rental laws or bylaws in Sudbury.
Okay.
I have like so I have a triplex that I Airbnb every unit. That's, where are we here? Mine's just right here. So I have a lot of people, because lots of people that come up north, they want to see Killarney, which I'm kind of taking you way
Yeah.
down, but Killarney here, there's like it's beautiful there.
Yeah.
But there's no, unless you want to pay like $400 a night, you're coming up to Sudbury and driving down. So you get those kind of tourists. You get all sorts of people that have hospital appointments, because our hospital is kind of what Toronto is to the southern. Like any big appointments
Oh,
that you have, or any surgeries
yeah.
and stuff, you're kind of going into Toronto. The Sudbury's like that for the north. Um, but yeah, so you have lots of hospitals. Right now we have two doctors staying there. Um,
And how
Uh,
long do they stay for in your Airbnbs?
so our average nightly, I think, is 4 nights. But we have a couple doctors that stay, like lots of the residents stay with us, and they're here for a month and a half or 2 months at a time.
So wait, they're in your Airbnb for a month?
Yep.
Damn, that's crazy. And they pay the premium, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
How much do you charge is it a 2 bedroom?
Yeah. So our 2 bedroom is 105 a night.
Okay.
Our
Damn.
we have a junior 1 bedroom that's 55, and then we have a bachelor, which is actually a nice unit, and that's 65 a night.
And the doctor is renting the 2 bedroom?
They'll be moving in next week, I believe, and they're with us for, well, actually, they're with us for 3 months.
3 months. And they're doing the
Because
2 bedroom.
they actually live, they live on Ramsey Lake, but they're renovating their house, so they're actually moving into to our unit.
That's crazy. So they're
Yeah.
2 bedrooms for $100 a night, roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's a lot of money. That's like almost $3,000 a month, and then
Yeah.
good for you.
I'm loving the Airbnb. You know, like it's, especially in Sudbury, like there's not a lot of Airbnbs out there.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you put out a nice product, um, like it's been good for us. It's more work obviously than long-term renting, but it's obviously you get a lot more cash flow out of it as well.
It's crazy. Um, Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time. I think, I know so much more about Sudbury just because of this. Do you like, if people want to reach you, how do they do that?
Yeah, of course, they can email me, just sales@tylerperoni.com,
Okay.
or Facebook, just Tyler Peroni. Instagram as well, if you want to follow me, just this is TP, or I think if you search Tyler Peroni as well, I'll come up. Good.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for doing this, Tyler.
No problem at all. I appreciate it.
Take care.